Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gamerman. Today we're playing Head as Cold. Now, I did release a part 1 to this, but come to find out there was an upgraded version to this game. So I got the upgraded version to it. It looks marginally better. And also I'm going to be talking kind of low because it's late at night and I'm trying to wake anybody up. So sorry for the sound quiet as of right now. But yeah, so this is going to be another part 1 since obviously none of my save files are there. So I wanted to see how different the beginning is compared to the other one. Okay, I think it's the same. Oh, I definitely upgraded. That looked like a girl. Hmm. I think this is somewhat different, but granted, I mean, it's not out the same, but the text is completely different. Marco looks real feminine right here for some weird reason. Alright, so the preface to this were actually, it's still the same thing, so I can say it. We're actually not quote-unquote dating game, I should say. And we need to survive to find number 9. And I'll let the game explain the rest. Because I did play some of it of a different version, so I understand some of it, but I haven't gotten to the end of any of them. There's many endings to the game, so I haven't gotten an ending to any of them. So it'll be quite long. Alrighty. He was in disagreement with our plan. His words on my Jasmine's eased my mind about my predicament. She was not, in fact, my jailer. Honestly, though, I wouldn't have minded that. A bit kinky, but okay. Wait, what do you mean by not safe? Where exactly were we? If I was here with Jasmine and him, it could have been not so bad, but I thought maybe I should ask him. Maybe he would have some answers for me since he's pretty smart. Well, what do you make fun of me if I turned into a joker like you always did? At least I knew I could depend on him. After all, you got some master's degree in some weird science that sounds like some weird stuff that sounds like mathematics. Forgot what it was, and obviously it's not that. And I wasn't waking up to remember it. Instead, I tried to remember what could have brought us here. We were in the landlord's office. What landlord's office has booze? Let me know. My head hurt so badly I had to issue remember by anything. Looking around once more, I noticed we were in some kind of bar at least. There was a counter with some stools. Yeah, that wasn't the landlord's office. That was pretty obvious. The decoration could have used a little touch up. There was a very strange painting on the wall. It looked like the cross with the ominous words around it. It read, "You don't know what you have until it's gone." Chill ran up my spine as I read my words in my head. This entire place was giving me creeps, and now I was ready to take it all in. Stranger. Oh, the little boy woke up. That sounds a bit creepy. Little boy? I looked at his body, and I realized I wasn't with him. I was like 24. That man though, I don't know who he is, but he's much bigger than I was. He had a mighty gray heart. He's in his 50s perhaps. You're fine that way. I solved the little problem. Hope we didn't wake you up. Man, that doesn't really matter. That was okay. I didn't sleep very well. Sure won't beat the bed you got last month. And by the way, you're still for that, remember? I absent-mindedly nodded with Jeff into the topic. I'll think for that since I didn't want to be reminded about my debts right now. Fair enough. I know me and Ray came back from exploring new area while we were sleeping. We should all head out and find a new place too. Some words she said didn't make sense. Him and Ray. Until Marco was in and this guy was Ray, but called Marco him. I was lost and simply nodded. maxing my confusion. Yeah, a new place. Makes sense. And part of me wants to believe this is a weird dream. That it was probably in the Carolee. It was probably the Carolee in me. Same part was also telling me not to let them know I was up to date with recent events. Unfortunately, there were others might have quieted that part. I listened to it. While I listened to it, it might have been a little on the nose to admittedly how Carolee it was. But if there's one thing I can hide from, it was that I knew I was a character who didn't look the part. Yeah, we didn't find anything new. Makes me wonder if this is some kind of waste of time. We still don't have a single clue of whereabouts of that ninth person. Whatever, just need to explore it. The more we'll be out of here. I'll take this punk with me. You go with your girlfriend. That's good for you. Girlfriend? I'm alone there, bro. Well, I don't know what happened before I slept with. I mean, was I not supposed to either push it to you? What was the name? The man almost got me flustered for a moment. It'd be far too embarrassing to reveal that I did have feelings for Kondo. Or maybe I was embarrassed. Still, there was no holding anymore. I feel like embarrassed. Cool as teenager. In a grip, Simon. Just had to say something before my cheek got redder. Why did I say face? It said cheeks got redder sounds weird. He's not it. It's not like that. You know, his deeds didn't get you that much. I just take the train and go to a new station over. Unless you want to stick around here for a little bit. I took a sidelong glance at her and noticed she looked very reserved, but didn't think it's fair to blame her if she lost her embarrassed. Mark would stay quiet, apparently thinking about doing something horrible. I felt the incredible need to leave before he opened the big mouth again. Thankfully, I wasn't saved by the imposing man. Cursed and saved by the same man speaking in a span of 2 minutes. But I will become some kind of record. Whatever, listen. Go ahead. When you're all done here. The fun 2 minutes don't take too long. Hey, waste of time. I hate you way more. Ray left the lounging area. In the distance, the kid noise of the steps was getting fainter and fainter. Some creaking revealed he was going down the flight upstairs. This Ray person seemed to be funny, so I took my mind off and turned attention back to Jasmine and Marco. The latter was a little deflated, but I assumed was Ray calling him Marco over and over. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Sounds amazing, woo. Hey, Jane asked if she want to head together. If you care to mix a little. Jasmine categorically shook her head. How do you categorically shake something? Nope. I'll go wait here the 2 and I'll take this side he didn't go. When we're done, come down here, okay? Just like that, a brief away, she was gone and leave me with Marco. He looked back at me and certain how to proceed. I'll make it wait too long, but probably should have a minute. Don't want to make it wait too long, for sure. Heard him right. That guy could destroy me with a well-placed punch. That would at least give me enough time to talk to Marco a bit if I wanted to die due to a joke or two. Or if it's I can head out and join Jasmine right away. Well. Yeah, I can do it real quick. Sometimes it's more for you to decide the order in which events happen. These numbers and interactive segments we call active searches, or AS for short. Making choices during the segment, you can have Simon look at certain things. You can also choose to talk to characters and pick an input when available. The special icons appear for those moments. The look icon will never progress the story nor used for supplementary information. However, you may need to select to define a talk or use icon to progress. Interesting. Both the talk and use icon are used to progress the story in different ways. The talk icon will be necessary when talking to a character and trigger dialogue. The use icon would do what it said, use the object in question. Note how the talk icon does not necessarily progress the story, but the use always do. Once you select anything displayed through the game will save it. On any subsequent playthrough, they'll show up as legendary. You already selected them. Okay, so it helps out to detect when you're on a certain path or not, and how to get off other paths. So that's nice. Now you meant to re-select them in progress, even to show up as done. This is the only indication you read the text at least once before. For this first day, as it's not as complicated as they want too often. Being a character marker or look and use the stairs which continue the story. Most of them will have something that lets you bypass them if you wish to merely skip them. However, you may miss bits of extra information if you choose to ignore these in segments. They're mostly optional, so you don't lose much if you wish to skip them. There's one exception when assignments within an escape room after sessions are obligatory. You want to go through this tutorial again? No thanks. I just talk to him. And he's telling me how to find when nobody's around, so I'm running with his name and do our real names. So we don't, honestly, I don't know. Jane came up with that. I'm just like, nobody here has a name to stuff. Same letter as mine, or it would be terribly awkward. Yeah, that wasn't too smart. On the other hand, because you're also sweet, you know, like Eminem. Nice joke. I shook my head. No, I didn't know or didn't want to know. Everything he touches turned into a joke. Kind of like Adidas. Oh, Midas. Where the power turn everything he touched to gold. Didn't want to be turned into a joke myself, so I slewed to the park room. Just head up, ready to get mad. Well, I just using the name and I like R. That was when I was like a lost lamb, and that's not really cool. That's not thing I wanted to do, be more ammo for a stupid joke. If Marco went back and came around, I left him be. And we can't do nothing here, so let's leave. It might be a good idea for me to postpone join Jasmine down the stairs. So I moved. So you played. I'll see you later then. Remember, you owe me a pizza for every week for the next 6 months. Now I'll let go of it some. Marco's words remind me of something. I focused on that while grumbling something farewell back to him. In my uniform side pocket, I filled the cap, but I never could joke it back onto my head. Kept the stashes away whenever I could, but right now, it might give me some courage. My boss wasn't here, thank God. If he saw me without the cap on, he'd probably give me a truckload of swears. So if you're not working, is he gonna get mad because you don't have a cap on? Normally I hate wearing this cap. In here it's kind of like comfortingly. I was comforting because it's one of the few things I felt normal. Well, down the flight of stairs opposite I rated took earlier. There was some kind of little lobby between stairs and what beyond. Stepping outside, I found myself in the last area I thought I'd merged into. I was in the metro. It was underground. It was an underground train station selection in Montreal with multiple color lines. The more I looked around the station, the more it didn't make any sense to me. I gave up trying to understand exactly where I was, no matter what the station was. I knew for a fact that none of them had a spacious bar upstairs. This was no open bar like that directly after taking the first flight of stairs. That didn't make any sense. Jasmine came out of nowhere, having a place related to me for here. Earlier they said they went out to search the infirmary, so we're going faster now. Guess we had to kill some time to put the train around. Straight to the point, not even hello. I assume this place didn't really have her in a jolly mood. It was complete nonsense and nodded. However, I had a feeling Jasmine had picked up on my confusion. Taking a glance at the other side of the station, I saw Margot right in the distance. Well, like you said, she had some time to kill for the train arrived. I was curious about the place, so I could either look at stuff or talk to her. Probably talk to her sooner or later, so it's just a quick question when. I guess we felt look around and stuff, I guess. Funny, I don't remember always being white in any station I've seen. I haven't visited all of them though, so maybe that's just how it is at the station. Station walls were certain very widely depending on where you were. Some of them had brick walls, while others were tilted. Some type of graffiti, something weird. Which is, some of them had ads all over the place. Most of them did, to be fair. You said a lot of opposition. That's some walls. They're just walls. I don't need this much opposition about walls. It was open door where we used the metro. The door was thick and heavy looking. It was a solid sliding door from here. It looked like a solid block of metal embedded inside the wall. That wasn't here last time I came. All the screens used to be suspended, but this one was mounted on the wall with 4 mega large screens behind it. Currently it's powered off. The TV is bigger than any I've seen clearly. That's called the fortune. Marco would lose his mind about something like that back home. Especially as it would be considered theft. I'm thinking though, it was best to just not to mess with it. Dangerous staff only. That's what it said. The little maintenance hall was shrouded in darkness. That's where the staff usually went to fix all sort of solve a problem. Whenever we had any. Unless we had some sort of key we want to get back there. Only maintenance to go out, go inside, no dudes inside. It was too dark in there. I could barely make out some kind of metallic gate. You guys weren't going in. I assumed it was lost in searching and helpless. Next to the little maintenance hall was a yellow strip stripe on the ground, which is stretched across the entire board of the station. We'll step on it up on the train track. Those railroads we used to guide the trains around. Wow, that's how train work. They're dangerous. I saw next one said 750 volts. Yikes. If I touched them, it would certainly kill me for sure. I ain't gonna talk to her now. You've been acting a bit lost. Sure, we're okay there. I didn't know what to tell her. On one hand, I didn't want to find out I had no clue what was going on. I clearly didn't. It would make me look like I didn't have my stuff together. On the other hand, I was severely disadvantaged in understanding. Well, you see, it's like that I'm a little lost by now, to simply put it. I just woke up and I have no idea how I got here. Luckily for me, Jasmine was a kind person who always held back and listened. Finally, she got to stay without nagging at me. She began to explain big terms. I think I know what you have right now. Sounds like amnesia to me. It's probably super dangerous for her too fast. You don't remember that like locked right now or something. I just take it slowly, then assume it's temporary. I guess I can spend a minute to you know, and understand enough of it. Maybe say so. I really don't know much about amnesia, but I still want to know what's going on. Versus place, food trade. Alright, I think I'm just gonna pause the recording right there and just skip some of this because this first part is still markedly the same. I mean, if something majorly different, would I doubt I'll unpause, but I'm gonna just pause the video right here. Then I'll come back when we get to what I last left up in another episode. Alright, bye. Alright, welcome back. So now we found something interesting. So this is not part of the other version of the game. So I guess we get some background information on each other. I guess we just start from the top. Hey Jazz. I'm with Jay here, just to be safe. Alright. Anyway, I'm gonna ask you, how's the job going? My graphical design? Going swimmingly. Because I'm wondering if I should have studied further though. Not that I can justify going back right now. I got a big client who wants me to make a large nature landscape. It's really difficult. I'm not very good with colors and involving it. The general detail is like, whoa. It's probably good though to offset that. Though I know you want to take a job if you think you can do it. Correct? Don't want to know that, so I added nothing. That's when I already had it still together. Complete contrast with me. The train stopped at the station. Seeing Jasmine could move to leave, I didn't either. I followed the lead, and at least I would understand my predicament better. I took a seat on one of the various colorful benches. Last thing I wanted to happen to her was to think I would use this. I need the rest of me to get shit. But I rested on the couch though, unless I was scared of death. Hey, what are you thinking about? I'm not gonna pronounce that. That's just laboratory. And it cuts off rather really if the train cuts off. I don't know. It doesn't matter, you can tell me. We're in this together. We flashed a smile. Yeah, she's dependable to a fault. Oh, got some more options. Definitely look at my outfit, that's right. Didn't really know what I've been up to since we parted ways so long ago. You're a police deliverman, pizza deliverman. Yeah, I guess so. It's not that really valorous to use the rental cars, right? The ones with people who signs on top. The pizza your logo on them so people know someone's gonna eat well on it. Interesting wording? Yeah, that's right. I don't have my own car yet. I said, yep, I don't plan on doing this long enough for it to matter. Oh, you did graduate. As you're trying to enter the Mexican world of graphic design. Oh, so we both did graphic design. It's a paradox where people don't want to pay you in wherever you are forever. Except by everyone, I mean yourself. You want to think your own art is terrible and there's nothing you can do about it. That you'll never improve. Sounds amazing. It'd probably be much better than being a pizza guy. Yeah, some caught my sarcasm in my voice. Yeah, it's really hard to get over things in general. People want to pay you in exposure. What's exposure anyway? I eat it. Fair enough. In the top of the market Google. I guess I was gonna learn all these first things to know, hopefully. Before I could do anything, we arrived at the laboratory. Jasmine shook her head when I rose to my feet. This one's already done, so don't need to go here. The next one is and the next one, that's the one the other show to go to. Alright, you don't know about them. Don't mean infirmary. We're eight here in total. There's something that didn't feel right somehow. The amount of people was 8. But it wasn't that was nagging me. What was nagging me is the change directory. Station infirmary. I had to ask her about it, but I wanted to first catch up more. It was all for I knew the only option I might have to do something in here. What year is it actually? Make sure it's on 2022, right? Of course. Did you forget that too? Or you just making sure you didn't leave for so long somewhere? No, I'm not really normal like name occupation in my own name. I just forgot what we're doing here. Just making sure things are so normal, you know. Short-term memory loss, didn't I see? Not really bad application, amnesia didn't. Just 2022, the year nothing goes right. That sounds like right now, except we're just 1 year behind. Thought back to 2020 with a large-scale virus outbreak we lived through. Oh, same year has a ton of riots over injustice and racism. In 2021, don't even mention it. Yup, you are mirroring right now. I don't know, I think looking up now, I'm joking. Yeah, it's gonna get worse probably. At least nothing major has yet. There's no outbreak this year. Or terrorist attack or crime community routines. All three of those things you just said have happened. Those school shootings and they restocked my favorite brand of pizza. I had to change the subject topic before we get on pizza. I could probably think back to my earlier thought, decided that was enough for now. My available time before the train arrived at the destination was getting shorter and shorter. The plane just arrived at the train all of it then. Nope, it's impossible because the train shouldn't stop at the station when we're cleared and it doesn't move. In short, when it stops, it doesn't go off again. A group of 2 must leave the train. Alright, I think I'm going to pause it again and just come back to something else. If something major happens, I'll come back. Something not, then obviously I'll keep going. Alright. Alrighty, we are back to our interaction. Well, our active phase right now. This is about the same spot that I left in the last video. I mean, it's going to be slightly different because this is the upgraded version. So yeah, you can still use the first video since it has the same deposition as this one. But the rest of it is going to be playing on this version. And I'll have the link down below in the description. Alright, look at this poster. This poster was made of crude drawings to picture weird things by the eye and the brain. And written in language I didn't understand. Or maybe it was just too complicated for me. Here would you just have no artistic talent whatsoever. That would be funny if we said actually. This handrail has some screws. I wonder if I could somehow take them off. Alrighty, well, that's a clue there. The bed, it was a bad bed. That was really all I had to say about it. Fair enough. It was just a sink with clean supplies underneath. Nothing worth noting. Still just a sink. It even worked correctly. Both faucets made water flow. The sink was still saying nothing else. And we'll do it again. It was shiny though. It's not shiny though. I could see my face in the reflection. It's a marvelous sink. The fan was turned off, making this room a little bit hotter than it should been. Could have thought of something cheesy like it's hotter because Jasmine's here, but I didn't. Wait though. I thought of it in since English is hard right now. I thought it up in the end, so I had to think about it, but I didn't. If I could take the rating off and the blades off, which I couldn't. I only feeling that legal Jasmine the result of all the cakes you love to eat. Thinking they need to lay off eating more since they made a butt bigger. There's nothing wrong with that actually. Figure some people might think a good thing, but health is on the line. 3 shelves were mounted above the surface of the counter. Didn't know if anything on them would be useful. There were some glasses ready up, some pill bottles, a box. Nothing I really could use or combine. The escape room sucked. Even more time, I feel like I let go wasted time. I feel a little time is wasted with this side. Also made me wonder about the purpose of all this. Just a so-called day game. Why would they put us in a room that's encouraged us to split up? Not we cooperated by doing something together. Shook my head, and back to the surge, and back to the sink. I lost my name as time passed, and I didn't feel it. All I could see was my sink. All these words were sink, place to be sank. Wait. For a moment, I felt like my slip resistance took away. One thing I committed was not to work at Paul's feet. In that moment, I decided to take that vitamin and go back to searching. This cupboard is locked. No, wait. One of the doors locked. The other were open after I messed with a bit. Tied was just a coin, nothing big. Itself was a little bit bigger than a $2 coin. On it was a large engraved 8. Was it worth $8? No way. Coins were worth up to $2 nowadays. Still, it seemed to be useful for something, so I pocketed. Well, this was a cup called cupboard. That was because people first put cups inside them, but it's not a board, that's a box. When we better call them cup boxes, the surface of the counter was shiny. This had been cleaned with the utmost precision. Too bad there was nothing else of interest here. So, like I said before, I played some of this before, so I know some of the puzzles are just still the same. If not, then I'll probably let you know. But right now, it's puzzle is pretty simple. The coin we just found, you just take and literally just slap it on there. Unscrew the screw, permanently again screwed. Inside with a small USB stick. Probably set to call Jasmine over since I found something important. Could also take another look around if I really wanted to. Interesting. Alright, let's follow over. KJ, Alfred dying searched. There's some wrestling nearby, so enough. Jasmine went into this section and clutching a key. Romeo, where is that Romeo? A hole in mind advanced an object of value which thine heart may offer. Oh, you Jasmine, that's really it. The fist pushed up to her hips, looking annoyed. She's staring like I just ruined a joke. What do you say about nicknames? Oh, good, right. Alright. Good Jay, not Jade. Get it. They're both feeling the same way. Again, I remember all either. I bet the death put me right at my feet. I cleared my thought while she moved again. This time looking for something in one of those cupboards. Perhaps I could have swept off her feet. Going in a metaphorical sense. Looking for something. I just finished looking around this place. Yeah, I think I found it. Going to the key into it. Turning it, she opened the cupboard, taking out a strange tablet. Look beneath it. Something here. I could probably get by breaking this in half, but we might need it later. Oh, we got a touch screen. I want it here. Touched it, but didn't light up. That's my examiner inside. We're gonna need a USB stick that I found in a wall. Plug it in. I tried my early maneuver again. Screen lit up. Context. Exactly. Yeah, it's open, but the slot in the back didn't. The owner electronics are booting up. Relation says a thousand other these files. Whatever. You know, adding the at the end doesn't want me automatic make it correct old English. He completely disregarded the rest of what I said. Keep your eyes on the prize. And she was staring at since she had the screen with the tablet aimed at herself. What I could see is her expression. She was very puzzled. What is it? Kinda like puzzle, I guess. Make a heads or tails of it. There are 3 numbers. 2 of them are set and one middle one is static. The middle is numbers 9 both. 9 and both numbers on the side of the arrows pointing towards it. I could change the numbers on the side, but not the middle one. So I had to make numbers 9. I combined the 2 different numbers. That's wrong. You think we absolutely have to do it? There's probably nothing else you can do, so might as well. Games have silly puzzles sometimes. What's inside the tablet would probably help us. Maybe even better, we get a code for the keypad so we not try it again, but you only gave up with frustration. Oh, have a shot if you want. Shut up the tablet, count and stormed off. Maybe be trashy at the same way as me about looking useless. Okay. So I've done this puzzle already. Picked the tablet, looked at it, just doing it in the future, reminding me of an analog clock. But other than that, there was other details weird. For the blue, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna get some of this. I've seen it. Oh, we didn't have to do it this time? Oh, we didn't have to do it that time. Alright, so the answer was that you need a number 5 and 5 and 3 for the blue and red respectively to work. So save up so it can match the spaces that the 9 had on. Hey Jay, come look, I have it working, it's opening. He came back just like the back open inside of a piece of paper with a bunch of incomprehensible gravel. That's exactly what I need. Something stumped me over here too, while waiting for any sort of rejection to snatch it from me. I set the tablet aside now, like I had apparently done as meant to. I'll be right back. I think we're almost out of here. Patient waited. After took his seat in several moments. Jasmine came back wearing a brimming smile. Yep, the whole thing is open up now. The whole thing. I unlock all the doors. I also found something else. Some kind of remote for no purpose here. But it's kind of a thing that we should share with others, so I showed you at the lounge. Alright, if you say so. I set up towards open doors, but Jasmine stopped me with the hand around my wrist. Wait, before we leave, I had to show you something. I would wait till Emily's number kind of point, so I can't leave it up to chance. I'm fairly worried. I had no choice, but my kid actually speak anyways. She led me to a room that previously been locked off. It was somewhat featureless, except for the clear indication that there was a one-way deal. Perhaps they were just supposed to be telling us to stop. About to walk in with Jasmine. Jasmine shook her head and kept a tight hold on my arm. See these cameras? Apparently they check if we have the 9th person with us. That's who we're trying to find, by the way. We need to find the 9th person to leave. Otherwise, Jasmine crossed her finger around her neck in a motion that left little to no imagination. I get you. But now then, if this is where we have to go, now we're going back to the lounge, and we can't go back to the station with more people at once. We can go for the lounge. It's like a base operation. More information. My head hurt again as I trying to remember something. Seeing she was walking in, I followed her. We went down the stairs, but this time we're inside the station now. The reason was simple. We were going back, not forward. It took very little time to train arrived. Bored and silence, even if I could tell Jasmine looked at me from time to time. Word to her Miami, just now she didn't say a word though. Just like she said, if all my memories came back, they wanted to be pretty painful, especially if I built new ones. Just better not divorce it. Just like before the train drove through each station. Just like before the train opened doors to the station, we waited a little and closed them again to resume movement. It's like I repeated a few times to the ride all the way back to the lounge. As the announcer said his name, I knew this was leisure or lounge station, which my adjustment placed one in the center between all the center colored lines. Well, most of them at least. I still couldn't wrap my head around how this huge, sprawling, very populated station could be a lounge. Did Smiley put some strings so nobody would be allowed to use the metro at all during this day? Or maybe this would just happen during the night, since every day the metro stopped running for a couple hours for maintenance. Now they soon need to run with the whole place. Time to go. That's when word took me out of my thoughts. I left the train alongside of her. If we didn't leave now, then it would drive off again. I hope the others came back too. If not, well, we gotta figure out what we do then. Then we had a lounge for ourselves. Let's go. I wasn't sure that was good or bad. I mean, of course it was good, really great, but then I've known her for 4 years since I saw her. Being with her like this made me feel lightheaded. One's for this weird staircase, this wasn't for this infirmary, it wasn't for the lounge. Yeah, it wasn't for all of those weird things. There's anybody else walking, together taking the train and going places and hang out. It just headache was one worse than worse. It was probably on the capstone room, it's not the best situation. I held my forehead with my hand, no hiding from Jasmine. She came back with a big smile on her face. Be reassuring, but I could tell she was a little worried. So it was a thought that was important. No one's here. Alright, I'll go back downstairs, wait for him. Go ahead and have a lie down if you want. Nobody's gonna bother you. They won't get to me. Once again, she flashed my spell. Once again, I was putting in her hand. With Jasmine, I awkwardly rubbed the back of my head, embarrassed that I had to rely on other people so much. The most cowardly part was I wanted her to stay too, but I couldn't bring myself to ask her. Instead, I went where she suggested. That's probably why I'm still single and always running. I wasn't certain of what I wanted to do. This job I had, these studies going through, all because I wasn't sure. That is kind of describing my life right now. Too much actually. To go artistic studies because Jasmine was home. I settled with her abroad because she decided to do it. I didn't want to let her go alone. I didn't want to let her go off there. When she finished and decided to start working, I moved back and studied more. Frozen my indecision. I couldn't go with the kind of job she was on. I hadn't been convinced it was the correct thing back then. That's common to go over completely as I moved back to Montreal from Vancouver because I couldn't move forward. It cost me Jasmine 4 years ago. Of course, now I regret everything. Now at least she was right here. I could finally right the wrongs of my path. Well, okay then. My man had a midlife crisis right there. See you in a bit. Once all said and done, she left the area and I'm free to snow away. Then I get murdered in my sleep. That would have liked to happen at least. But the muffled sound of her coming from the station wouldn't allow it. I fell off the couch I was sitting on, scrambled to my feet in panic. It was the noise. It was something reminding me of a gunshot. I had sudden thoughts of Jasmine shoot downstairs, right? I quickly went down there, running faster than I ever could. Almost tripped on the way. I looked out, the door opened and a train was driving away. Only found out wasn't someone inside, but I couldn't tell who it was. All I saw was a flash of cyan. Who that person was, they had fired the shot. Was it a warning shot or something worse? My mind was swimming with awful possible scenario. I mentally cursed myself. No, I couldn't imagine the worst until I seen it. So then, it wasn't the worst. Life is always robbing you the hope the moment you have it. And once the train drove off, I could see something that didn't belong out of darkness. A little passageway. Saw a pair of legs, purple tights, and those were purple tights. Jazz? No answer. At this point, I care a little for his name. Jazz? That you. Someone was here. Still no answer. At first, I thought it would be self-aggressive when we fired a gun, but that means she'd been in training. That means she'd been fine. But then again, maybe she was. Part of me thought perhaps she just knocked herself up by dodging the shot. Maybe she was playing dead until the gun wielder had been gone. Couldn't be sure until I took a closer look. It took all my will to gather up my courage for this. Look at reality in the face. Jazz. And smell ready. I shakily approached her. I knelt down in a dark area and stared at her. See how for myself how she was. Been okay, right? Just quickly, I stumbled back. My body hit the large screen and I fell over surprised. I looked up, unable to believe. That sight, that grim sight was unmistakable. I was confronted with the worst case scenario I imagined. Jazz, you. She was dead. She was dead. Right? Vicious girl known to childhood was dead. Both my hands held in my face with shock. I couldn't scream, but I tried. As they come out, the realization was far harder than I imagined. Didn't want to face the truth. I lied, but I wanted to run away, but I was there. I couldn't move, even if deep inside I wanted to run away from all this reality. What I seen was real, right? Jasmine was dead. Jasmine was dead. I wanted to see her. I wanted to see her again. Jasmine was dead. And I wanted to hear her speak again. Top of all, the killer was on the loose. Yeah, I don't like how long this part was lasting about her being dead. Like, it just seemed kind of monotonous to keep repeating this over and over again. Maybe that's just me. Kept repeating in my head and I couldn't believe it. I finally moved where it was up on my fist and relaxed. I was trembling and I had no tears, no matter how much I tried to cry. I couldn't shed a single tear. I was in shock. I not able to breathe. I was horrified by the truth and terrified by it. So terrified, cower through and through. At that moment, I moved. You meant something about my mouth. But there had been nothing on her when I checked. It had been taking my personal shot in the head. Was that the reason behind the murder? That stupid mouth? I had no clue what was going on. I couldn't even fathom what happened. Perhaps due to my knees, I forgot something important. I forgot who the culprit might have been. What I need to know with them. Everything should be clear when I got my move back, and Jasmine wouldn't be dead. And maybe this won't be an nightmare no more. Maybe. You say you don't know what you have until it's gone. I felt until right on time because the message had been aimed at me. No wonder where words felt so ominous earlier. But if I remember, maybe I could have figured out and bring it back. But I bring it back? No. But all of a sudden, as I contemplated this word, I was pretty shaking the room. I lost my footing. What's happening? What? I managed to catch myself as I fell over, only to roll over under the continued movement. Slammed into the wall, I'm gonna put a seizure warning. Gave a small scream of pain. Perhaps a result of the shock, it hit my head, it triggered my memory to come back. It all came back, leaving me breathless for this moment. All of this began right in Metro. My vision filled with 4 colors: blue, orange, red, and green, yellow. Where I could see there was also black, but the black was just absent color or all colors in one. So some color was missing, so it wasn't a rainbow. It was just staring blankly. My eyes followed the colored lines slowly. First green, followed the blue, yellow, and finally the orange. That was the one on. I could see these 4 colors. That was because my eyes were fixated upon the posters in the train. Didn't know what I was looking at. Interesting. I've been spacing out. I was back in reality. But what was there a dream right now? It was so strange. I was in the metro and I couldn't remember already. It wasn't important. Then I tried to remember by looking at the map. I was taking a train to Marco. I was looking at the map to the metro because I had ticketed forever before. Didn't want to miss a stop. I was going to fetch her at the airport and oh wait, I was coming back from the airport there. That's evident by the fact that it was already here. We flew away from Vancouver, where she lived as a graphic designer. She had gone through school together up to college. She and I had gone up to school together up to college. Took the same course at the Artistic Institute of Vancouver. Then we went our own separate. I came back home to study further by taking courses at the University of Montreal. She remained there. I mean, she hasn't seen each other for over 4 years. That's Michael. He never met her, obviously. Not face to face anyway. I met her a few times, which we made a crack under some terrible drugs. It was the first time talking to her, though. At least it was the first time sharing space together because I mean, out of us three had anything to say. Naturally, this was the metro, and most people were quiet. We were saying things, we'd be drowning out the noise coming from the metro movie. Some people didn't care though, as much as the group of 15 close by. When I strained my ear enough, I could hear what they were saying. Shooting glances at them, I saw one of them had long pink hair and two pointy pigtails. I looked back at Jasmine, got the same hair color. Of course, they weren't natural. They just dyed. You can just tell Jasmine's real hair was brown since her eyebrows were thick colored. She didn't dye those. Kind of like a better brown hair, personally. Colors again. My thought was on the subject of colors again. Maybe I turned into a zombie from waiting in the metro this long. Johnson spoke the name of the station we were at, but it wasn't our stop. This meant for myself and decide to avoid a woman leaving the train station. Afterwards, two men entered and took her place. Both businessmen who probably had a lot of such judgment about their stern allure. You know, I was just a piece of delivery man. I was a student, and it wasn't quite true. While there has been cause, it has been a case for the 3 p.m. today. I was entirely free from the university. Soon I passed my exams anyways. Finally, I had my bachelor's degree, and I'll start getting real jobs that I wanted to do instead of separate for in grades. The idea to make me quite giggling, and the reason just 1 year or two. Tonight we're going to the party because not only did I finish my exam, also did Marco. That means we both potentially had a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in the same apartment. Granted, mine was in fine arts, we were in some science thing I never understood. Pick up some party games we could play on Nimbus, the multi-plat game, so we hoping that would be a hit. And really, when I had more stress from dealing with the exam, tests, and homework, I was not my own man, so that was reassuring because I was the strongest guy at heart. Would you believe it? 24-year-old, I still feel like it's a teenager. Press my hand against her cheek, you're hugging it down while exhaling. So girl further down, the train looked at me strangely. She had no idea what I truly felt. Once again, the train stopped. There a few minutes, depending on how far the station were. Walking from one to another would take ages. So this was great, but this place always feels so cramped. The woman leaving earlier had some vacant space, but since she was placed for 2 minutes, not much came from her. I was sitting, and there's a lot more relaxed. Now I'm on my 2 feet. I was also holding on a pole in the middle to keep my balance. I hated it. This thing was covered in germ. I needed to wipe my hand as soon as possible. I think I'm gonna take a break right here. Because I sound like I'm just droning on and on. I just want to give you, an update on the new version of the headers code. Yeah, this one's seems a little bit like drawn out at the beginning. Hope it just cuts some of the drawn out stuff. And yeah, I'd say a little bit drawn out as of right now. It's just monotonous or just really nitpicky about everything. But it's not bad overall. So it's not bad overall. I'm enjoying it as of right now. Not too like nitpicky. But yeah, I'm gonna take a break. I've been recording for good enough, and I gotta make more videos later. But my name's the Gamer Man, and I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.